A night of grief and pain in Uvalde, Texas tonight as a community comes together to hold each other up and find a way to cope with the tragedy.
The sorrow and anger over the loss of 19 children and 2 teachers is overwhelming, but there is also anger and calls for tighter gun laws. Here are the latest details at 10. Authorities say the gunman shot a police officer before entering the school. He was also inside the building for nearly an hour before being killed. He posted cryptic messages on social media before the rampage, and police say all the victims were in the same classroom. We have complete live team coverage on the investigation, the victims, and the growing calls for gun reforms.
And we begin with KTLA's Pedro Rivera live in Texas tonight. Pedro.
I got to tell you guys, this is such a wonderful community. On our drive from San Antonio to Uvalde, which is about an hour and a half, you see nothing but farmland until you hit this community, and that's when it really gets to you. One person I spoke with, they said the best way to describe this small town of Uvalde, it's all about church, football, and family, and not in any particular order. But it's really that last word, family, that stands out, because as 21 families grieved tonight, the community came together to mourn. I want to show you video from a vigil that happened earlier today at the Rodeo Arena, where they were seeking answers through prayer. Thousands showing up, bowing their heads, praying and mourning. You could see in this video here, it was standing room only. At one point, people even started going on to the rodeo dirt to stand because the bleachers were packed, all wearing that Uvalde Lobos maroon after the high school football team, all to show solidarity. One woman I spoke to, Patricia Ramos, she came here with her 14-year-old son and her daughter, who happens to be the same age as some of the 19 children who were killed by that lone gunman Tuesday afternoon. But because this is such a small, tight-knit community of 16,000, her daughter was not spared from losing 2 of her softball teammates.
It's hard. It's hard because I have 5 kids myself. So these kids didn't deserve it. They were innocent. They had a future. I have a 14-year-old. I've seen him grow up. These parents are not going to see their kids grow up at all.
And now you're taking a look at video from a blood drive that happened earlier today, because for many that didn't make it to the vigil, many did show up to donate blood from all over South Texas. I spoke to some people who drove over an hour and a half to get here, others who drove an hour, who said they just wanted to be here, like this man, Miguel Chavez, who has a daughter of his own. So he stood in line for 6 hours to make sure he donated today.
You see it in the news, and you see it happening around the country, but it's not until it hits close to home that you're like, and whenever something like this happens, it's always good to show as much support as possible. I have a 2-year-old daughter, and you know, you look at them in the morning and you're like, in the future it could happen to her.
Every parent I spoke to said something similar. What if it was my child who is in that classroom? So many are, of course, keeping those 21 families on their hearts and minds tonight. President Biden, we know, is expected to make a trip down here to Uvalde, Texas in the next couple of days. Still have not made an official decision on when that's going to happen. But right now, standing back out here live, you see we're in front of Robb Elementary School. This was supposed to be a place where children were supposed to be celebrating the last couple of days of school, and unfortunately has now turned into a crime scene. Much of the area where I'm standing is shut down as police continue their investigation. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
Pedro, you were at that vigil tonight, a scene as unforgettable as it was heartbreaking. Your impression, what's sticking with you tonight?
Well, one of the things that stood out to me was when we were leaving the vigil. We were driving away, and as we were leaving, hundreds and hundreds of more people were trying to get inside. That just shows you the response from this community. There was beyond capacity at this point, but you know, fire marshals, no one cared. They just wanted to be together. They wanted everyone there, as many people as possible. They were parking miles and miles down the street, all to walk in and try to get inside. So it just shows you that this community is tight-knit, like I mentioned. It kind of feels like one big family, and you felt that inside of that arena.
And so many people, Pedro, want to help this community. What can people do to help the victims of the shooting?
Yeah, there are so many GoFundMes that have been set up. We saw some for the teachers, some for the students who were killed. there is a master GoFundMe that you can go to. You go to KTLA.com. We have a link there where you can see the donations. And so far, they've been piling up. You can see here in this video, $2.5 million has been raised so far. And that's all generosity from people all around the world wanting to help this community because, again, you have 19 young children with bright futures who were cut short and 2 educators who are now heroes. Back to you.
Pedro Rivera on the ground for us in Uvalde, Texas tonight. Chilling new details are emerging about what led up to the massacre and what happened inside the elementary school before the gunman was finally brought down by a Border Patrol officer. While the exact timeline of events is still being verified, new evidence is emerging of an hour-long siege inside that school.
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade joins us live now with the latest on the Texas tragedy. Mary Beth.
Well, Sharon Micah, authorities say that one of his first acts after turning 18 last week was to buy 2 high-powered rifles. They say he started bragging about his deadly plans in Facebook messages only minutes before going on a shooting rampage. His first target was his grandmother that he apparently had been arguing with about his phone bill. New details are emerging about the suspected shooter in the Texas school massacre. About 30 minutes prior to the 18-year-old high school dropout storming Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas on Tuesday morning, authorities say he posted on Facebook his plan of attack.
At approximately 11 o'clock, he announced, on Facebook, a message that he was going to shoot his grandmother. He shot his grandmother. He re-reported that he had shot her. And after that, he reported that he was going to a school to attack it.
Authorities say he shot his grandmother in the face at his grandparents' Uvalde home, where he had been living since March.
When she was able to run across the street to a neighbor and get help, and she was medevaced to San Antonio in critical condition at this point, but she's still alive.
They say the suspect, who didn't know how to drive or have a driver's license, fled in his grandmother's truck and then crashed it near the elementary school. They say he raced into the school wearing a tactical vest, armed with a rifle and carrying a backpack. Another assault rifle was found back in the truck.
He went down a hallway, turned right, then turned left, and there was 2 classrooms that were adjoining, and that's where the carnage began.
Authorities say he was barricaded inside those 4th grade classrooms for reportedly about an hour and managed to kill 19 students and 2 teachers and injure numerous others before a Border Patrol agent could shoot and kill him.
It was a senseless and tragic event in this magnitude in our community is heartbreaking.
Investigators say last week the suspect turned 18 and then purchased 2 assault rifles and 375 rounds of ammunition at local gun shops. His grandfather told ABC News that he had no knowledge that his grandson had purchased the weapons.
Did you know that he bought those weapons?
No. Like I said, I don't like weapons. I cannot be around weapons.
Because you have a record?
Yeah.
His grandfather says he would have reported his grandson had he known.
I hate when I see all the news, all those people that get shot. I'm against all that. I say, why do they let these people buy guns and all that?
Meantime, the suspected shooter's mother spoke to a Daily Mail reporter from her mother's hospital bedside. She said her son was a loner, but not a violent person. She's surprised by what he did. She also said she is praying for the families and all those innocent children. And authorities say that at this point, there is no indication that the suspected shooter had a criminal record. Cher?
All right, Mary Beth, thank you. So many people affected, families forever changed after the devastating events that unfolded inside that 4th grade classroom. We are learning more about each of the 19 students senselessly killed and the 2 teachers who tried to protect them.
KTLA Sandra Mitchell joins us live from the newsroom with more on the lives lost. Sandra.
Micah and Cher, in many ways, for so many people this day after the shooting tragedy, it's even more difficult to process what happened because tonight now we are seeing the faces of these victims and we're hearing what made each of them special, including a heartbreaking message from a daughter to her mother who was one of the teachers killed. A 10-year-old who liked playing football, a little girl who loved wearing bows in her hair, one still happy about her first birthday in double digits, and 2 teachers who died trying to shield their students from the bullets.
She was very sweet.
These are the victims of the Uvalde shooting. Her aunt remembers Eliana Garcia as loving, innocent, fun.
She was very happy and very outgoing. Loved to dance and sing and play sports.
McKenna Elrod, who loved dancing and tumbling. Her family said on social media, words cannot express the pain we are going through. The children at Robb Elementary were just 2 days away from the end of the school year. 10-year-old Javier Lopez couldn't wait for summer and swimming. 11-year-old Julia Seguero giggled while making TikTok videos. Her cousin in the same classroom also killed. Jace Levanos and Uzziah Garcia, who had just started to play football. His grandpa said he could run fast and catch. Althea Ramirez, her family described her as just an angel. And Tess Mata. Also killed in the shooting, 2 fourth-grade teachers who tried to save their young students. Irma Garcia, married with 4 children, who'd been honored with an Excellence in Teaching award. And Ava Morales, 44 years old. She loved running and hiking, but most of all, she loved her family. Her daughter posted a heartbreaking message on social media. I want to hug you one last time. I want to sing karaoke with you and hear you sing in your loudest voice. I want to thank you, Mom, for being an inspiration to me. I will forever be proud to be your daughter. My sweet mommy, I will see you again. Amid all the sadness, a survivor's story. This is Kendall, shot 5 times, but she's out of surgery and expected to survive. It is believed that all of the children and the teachers killed were in the same classroom and that Kendall, the picture we just showed you, was the only one who came out alive. In the newsroom, I'm Sandra Mitchell. Sharon, Micah, back to you.
Sandra, thank you. And then there are the parents who've lost children in other school shootings. A father whose son died in the 2018 Parkland, Florida massacre says the tragedy in Texas reopens wounds that won't ever heal.
I know what the families had to endure sitting in a room waiting to hear, and their child's laying in a school on the floor. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I'm in physical pain for what they're going through right now. It's there are no words. No words. So sorry it happened to them.
A student gunman killed Tom Hoyer's 15-year-old son and 16 others in Florida 4 years ago. That gunman has pleaded guilty and faces a possible death sentence.
A frightening discovery at an elementary school in Sacramento. A gun and a loaded magazine were found in the desk of a second-grade student. Other students alerted the staff that their classmate had the weapon. The school called police, who are investigating how the child got the gun. Officials say several weapons have been found on or near Sacramento area campuses in recent months.
Sadly, the deadly rampage in Texas is just the latest high-profile mass shooting in recent weeks. The rising anger and sorrow has brought talk of gun control to state capitals and to Capitol Hill. The debate over gun control laws nationally and locally is intensifying.
California leaders say they're set to pass at least a dozen new gun control measures. Rick Chambers is tracking the legal developments. He joins us live from the KTLA News Center with more. Rick?
Yes, sure. We always hear these calls after mass shootings, but seldom is anything done on a national scale. And there is little reason, at this point anyway, to think that that's going to change. But as you mentioned, steps are being taken here in California to further restrict gun access.
Do something to prevent the appalling acts of mass murder that we see way too often.
Impassioned pleas again for gun control on the floor of the U.S. Senate today, following this latest school shooting in Texas.
Will we listen to the American people in their overwhelming numbers calling on us to set politics aside and stop the killing of children and other innocent Americans? Or will we cower in front of the gun industry?
Democrats are looking to kickstart bipartisan cooperation for gun legislation, which is currently stalled after passing the House.
Vote in favor of common sense gun safety measures that we know work, that are supported by the vast majority of American people, including strengthening background checks, including banning assault rifles.
But that's unlikely to happen because Senate Republicans refuse to even take up the issue.
And you're doing nothing.
No, you need to get his
Johnny, this isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line.
At a news conference today, former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke interrupted Governor Greg Abbott to say that we need more than just his outrage and prayers, and that Abbott was doing nothing to solve the gun availability problem in Texas.
His only interest is the gun lobby. He's scheduled to speak at the NRA convention this Friday in Houston, Texas, just days after these kids were slaughtered.
We mean business.
Up in Sacramento, Governor Newsom and state legislators are vowing to fast-track more than a dozen gun control bills to strengthen ghost gun restrictions, limit gun advertising, and one bill actually modeled after Texas abortion law that would allow citizens to sue gun makers and sellers.
We're going to use that, the door they open, that law, and that process to enforce a private right of action to get these guns off the street.
And Governor Newsom expects to sign some of those gun bills as early as next month.